Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's your host, Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 191. And I felt, call it inspired today to jump on here and share a message that I feel, I don't know, a little bit, what's the word? Unsettled about, and really just based on conversations I've been having and hearing in our industry as of late. And that's about thought leadership and what thought leadership actually is and what that means, what it means to me, and what I believe it means in the work that I do with the women that I work with in this industry and beyond. So often, I am told that by somebody that they're a thought leader or a key opinion leader, or they're in high demand or developing their personal brand, and that they need to have an ecosystem of support around them to help them really fly, right? And be that brand that they see themselves as, to be a public figure on stage, to be an influencer on social media, to be somebody who has done something exceptional in the world. And at the same time, I'll hear that same woman say that they feel frustrated they don't have the right team to support them through that process. They feel like they're something extraordinary because of a certain amount of revenue that they've hit, or there's something just simply unique because somebody else has identified them as a thought leader. And I have to say, I don't really love that word being tossed around loosely. I don't think that just because somebody, maybe a company came to you and said, can you be a trainer for us? Or can you speak on stage on our behalf and talk about the results that you've achieved with our technology, makes you any kind of a thought leader, to be honest. I think that's great. I think that's a great partnership, a great potential stepping stone to helping you learn how to show up and be a mentor for others, to share your collective years of experience or knowledge or research that you've done. I think that's incredible. And I've done that too. But I also see the idea of thought leadership as something that is way bigger. And I feel like it should be thought of and approached differently than just somebody who has a level of experience or volume or investment in selling or serving for somebody else in their company. And what I mean by that is, when I think of the work that we do to help develop thought leaders in our space, I'm thinking of legacy work, right? I'm not thinking of building a pop culture business where it looks great, or I hear so many times, well, I've hit this revenue goal, I'm making this much money in a year. And that's amazing. I impress myself sometimes with the amount of money my business can generate. And we have those moments where our ego's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made that much money and I worked so hard to do that. And then turn around and say, well, I need all the other people to just get in line and make it happen, behind me. And that's a lack of a huge gap in leadership. If you really honestly think that building your thought leadership is something that has to do with you and only your personal brand, and yet you want to have a sustainable legacy business, you're going to have to do the right things in the right order. And that means getting your team in place. That means really getting clear on who you want to be in the world and what kind of relationship you want to have to your business, and not just skipping the line to call yourself a thought leader because someone else has identified you as that, or has given you an opportunity for public visibility. And from my perspective, thought leadership truly it's a 3-year process minimum. And that means starting with learning how to lead yourself, learning how to lead your mind, how to become a woman who is capable of showing up with the right tools to have public visibility, to have leadership over a team of people who are all operating in line with the type of experience that you expect to provide to your clients, with a level of integrity and ethics and buy-in to the vision that you have put in place, that is not something that you can hire out someone to build for you. So I encourage anybody who's listening to this who sees themselves as a thought leader or an emerging thought leader or somebody who feels like they have something really incredible to give to the world, that they really think about a few things. Number one is your filter and aligning yourself with the right type of partners and showing up in places that are reflective of your core values, because you will be associated with any company you work with. You will be associated with people that you are taking money from or sharing relationships, sharing customers with, right? That is going to be a perception, and the optics are going to look like you are in alignment with them, which you are. So if you are doing business with a company that is working out of integrity, or that you don't feel aligned with, or that is not growing along the same path as you, I highly encourage you to think about using a better filter and focusing your energy, efforts, and time on working with, or even if you have to do it on your own, working with people that will support you to achieve your goals and to give your voice to the world in the way that you want your message to be portrayed. I also think about thought leadership as something that's bigger than an industry, right? Is thought leader truly just industry specific, right? What if you had a broader message to share? Because I think so many of you do. I think so many women that I work with, when we start to really unpack and dive deeper into the layers of how they're showing up, they're really selling themselves short. What if your impact could be universally influential? What if you could impact other people outside of our industry across the globe? What if you could share your story with a bigger audience? I have a feeling that by telling yourself you're a thought leader, or listening to somebody tell you that you're a center of excellence for us, and so therefore you are an industry thought leader, is really selling yourself short, because you have such a gift and so much more to give, and there's a bigger stage for you. So I just don't think it's about showing up. It's about showing up in the right way. It's about showing up with the right message. It's about showing up in a way that isn't selling yourself short, that isn't playing safe. I see so often, especially with high growth women and women who have achieved so much and had so much success in their life, potentially who have felt like they've had a lot of control over the growth that they've had in their life and the position that they're in. And happens to be a lot of women that we work with at KLC, because we work with the creme de la creme, right? And women who have faced adversity, women who have invested years and years and years of training, studying, and being the best in their class, taking bold risks to get to where they are. I find that they get to a point where we start to play a little bit too safe, and we start to think that the things that we're doing to push ourselves out of our comfort zone are actually challenging, when in fact they're just heavier lifting of the same thing, right? Spending more time on one project, or just building more and more of what you already have. But when's the last time you really pushed yourself out of your comfort zone? I know I'm doing a cold plunge challenge this month, and I'm getting a lot of questions about cold plunging, and it's super trendy now. I've been doing this for a few years, but I chose to do a cold plunge because it was literally like my biggest fear, getting into frigid cold water. And I cried, like wet tears, cried the first time I did. So yeah, are there like other physical benefits? I'm sure, but I do it because it mentally challenges me. And I told the story at our retreat last month about switching up my golf swing. And I went from yeah, being a pretty decent golfer to like literally shanking the ball. And my swing was all contorted because I had to learn a new swing. And I was even at the country club driving range and trying out my new swing. And I think I even swung and missed the ball, or I completely like whiffed it and it rolled like 2 feet ahead. And this little boy, Harrison, who I coached when he was 7 years old in soccer, like pulled up next to me on the mat next to me and just started like crushing balls. And I was so embarrassed. I literally went to my car and cried because it just sort of caught up to me that I was doing something that I was not good at. And we're not used to putting ourselves in situations where we are really terrible and we have to be bad in order to be good. And so I look at women and men, right? But in general, people that talk about their influence and their impact and their knowledge and how much they have to give. And I feel like we mislead ourselves and many times about what it truly means to lead others and to be somebody that other people want to follow. And I just want to, use this podcast as an opportunity to really think about what it does require of you to be a true thought leader in the world, somebody that's willing to push themselves, someone that's willing to be an example to other people, somebody that is aspirational, that other people can look up to because they're doing things that not many other people are doing. Somebody that is aligning themselves with the right partners and the right team and the right ecosystem to truly support who they want to be, even when it is the difficult decision, even when it means compromising, making money, even when it means I'm not going to get that visibility or I'm not going to get that opportunity. Being a thought leader requires you to live and act and breathe in alignment with who you believe that you truly are and who you can be for the world. So if you're somebody who's looking to develop your thought leadership, if you're somebody who sees yourself as building a brand that is more than just, the business you're in or the title that you have on your business card, then I challenge you to really think about where you're stepping out and showing up for the world in a way that is going to be really uncomfortable, that potentially other people are going to not agree with. That is what thought leadership requires of you. It requires you to have a contrarian thought. It requires you to really see the world and explore it differently from other people. So to me, it's not something that is a word that I think should just be loosely tossed around. And I don't think that it's something that belongs to everybody. I don't think it's something that belongs to many of the people who would consider themselves to be thought leaders. But if you really, truly know that you are that person, that you are the person that's willing to take the bullets head on, that's going to have things to say that not everyone will agree with, that you're going to explore the potential of making a noteworthy change in the world, that you think more provocatively, you act on those thoughts, you know that your goal in this world and developing the thought leadership that you will imprint upon this industry, your marketplace, the people around you, anybody in this world is going to require very uncomfortable things of you. Then think about who you're setting yourself up with and think about where you're showing up, and how you are building and developing your brand is a reflection of the true legacy that you want to leave behind. Okay. All right, leader, just a quick pop-in message about that. I'd love if you have some commentary on this to circle back with me, send me a note. I feel like this is a dialogue that needs to happen. And it's a bit of a frustration that I feel in a great way, in a way that continues to inspire and challenge me to be a role model and be a true leader. And so I'd love to know if you're in alignment with me. And if not, I'd love to know that too. All right. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you same place, same time next week. Take care.